Okay, this is the first line. This is the most disordered, I guess, and the lack of planning, and also the most empty. And I already managed, like I cut all the grass and put it down, and I already pruned the casters mostly. Maybe left a couple of things. There is an almond and a leucaena here, and maybe a pecan. And then there's a long empty space. Well, I mean, there's a castor and a leucaena and a rosemary, but nothing, no targets there, nopal. There is a not too happy, but it's okay, peach. My very original largest castor. And over here, a weird thing happened. I think I'm gonna let him. There's a little avocado and a capulin cherry tree. And there's a persimmon that has not any leaves anymore. I don't know if it went dormant or I don't know. A couple of casters and some rosemary, but I feel it's empty there. Then there's this really happy peach tree, multiple branches. So I think this one will need management, but I'm thinking maybe wait until it goes dormant to give it a formation thing. There is more castor, and there is a blackberry, the one with thorns. I'm not too excited about thorns. And there's a little pecan tree. There's a little loquat and pistachio. So here there's gonna be three. Um, well, I guess there's gonna be an emergent, a high, and a medium in the same spot. So yeah, undecided, but I don't feel urgent except for maybe giving some formation, pruning to the peach. And my plan is when it goes dormant. Now we go to the second line. A lot more density in the second line. There comes castor, which I haven't pruned, and this tabachin is the one I showed you. It's coming along quite well. It's really thriving, going up. My target species here are this is pomegranate, and there is an apricot there. So all surrounded by castor, and there is a poplar here that is growing sideways now. But it's coming along well. And then there's this apple tree that was there before, and it was very unhappy. But it feels that now it's happy, now that I've given it more complexity to the system. Then the pattern repeats. There's another apricot down there. There's another pomegranate. There's some leucaenas and china berries growing underneath. So this is gonna be super dense, I think. There's another poplar, and there is tabachin, a nice leucaena that's growing there from seed. And then in my pattern, some of the pomegranates died and some of the apricots died. I can see a nice china berry growing there. And there's also gandul bean growing underneath. I don't know if they're gonna grow enough so that they get established and survive the winter, but this one is probably the tallest that I have. So this pattern is gonna repeat. There's gonna be tabachin, poplar, pomegranate, uh, and apricot, gandul, leucaena, china berry. They're just coming along. And I think this is another apple that is not as happy as the other one. So I think the only thing I'm thinking that I'm gonna do is, well, I could now do the casters, just cut a high apical cut, and but I'm thinking that at some point I want to make sure that the poplars grow straight up, and the same thing with the tabachines. I don't know if I should do apical cuts to them. I really don't know, but I want them to go straight up so that this become the high strata service trees, and they're they're like a meter apart. So again, I think cutting some side branches to the tabachin and poplar, and high apical cut to the castor, and maybe remove some of the lower branches to the castor to let some sun in. Those are my thoughts for this. For now, I don't think I'm gonna thin it out just yet. Now the third line is also quite dense. It's amazing what's been happening here. Just thinking how it was at the beginning of the year. And there I do have castor giving me seeds, a nice eucalyptus, and then at the bottom, this is gonna be interesting because I have Chinus mole here. That's gonna be the support for grapevines, and there's a ton of china berry seedlings coming there, gandul bean, and that pattern of Chinus mole with grapevine is gonna repeat. And again, well, I have the castor and some eucalypts growing. And I think the management in this one is to be high apical cuts to the castor, and then just making sure that the eucalypts are going straight. The same thing for the Chinus mole, just like making sure they go straight, and maybe do a candelabra type uh, pruning. Not sure if pollarding yet, but I just want one strong branch going up, or maybe two, but I still want them to go straight up so that they're there's gonna be a lot of maybe thinning at one point, but I don't want the Chinus mole to get all twisty and whatnot. Neither the eucalypt. So yeah, forming the support trees and high apical cut to the castor, I think, is the management that I need to do here. And now for whatever reason, the next line is thinner and the other one is even thinner. I already managed this one. I'll come back to it, but this one has some of the old trees that I had. There's pistachio, castor, some of the trees from seeds that are coming along, leucaena there, castor, another pistachio, a tabachin. So this line definitely is not growing as the other one because I bought the tabachins at the same size. And so there was something that I didn't do the same way in this line, or the ground was different. I don't know. There's some poplars here. This line should have, and I don't know if they're here, if they're alive, but there's, yeah, it feels like it is. Walnut. There's a couple of walnuts in this one. Some poplars. These old fruit trees. Tabachin again. Pistachio. So this one is poplar, tabachin, and whatever comes from seeds that supports. And then pistachio and walnut target. And then this one is even thinner. And I just managed the whole thing. This is where I put the wrong type of eucalypt. But I already cut all the grass and put it in place. And then the casters, except for maybe this one, I decided the other night not to cut it. It had a lot of animals living on it, and I decided not to cut the top, but just so that they could spend the night. But maybe I'll do it one of these days. There's wasps there. They're eating something in it. So some of the eucalypts, they're starting to sprout from the bottom, and I think the sprouts look better than the twisted little trunks they had, and this one died. I also have quince here, not very happy looking quinces, and a little bit of gandul bean. There's a couple of leucaenas growing in the same spot. So this one has as an objective, I think, quince, and I feel like there should. Oh yeah, there's figs. So it's quince and figs in this one, and I don't know if the combination was right, but that's how it is. I think I was thinking the quince would be low and the fig would be high, but I also thought that the fig responds very well also to being coppiced, especially here where they may have frost damage. So I don't think there's going to be any management here. There's these things are suckers or whatever from the parent tree of the quince. But I don't know how the quince is going to be, so I felt like maybe I'd leave those there. But that'd be a good question. Should I remove those? Because they're responding better than the quince. I don't know what they use as parents for the quince. And then this next line, it doesn't look that thick. It has also the wrong eucalypts. But basically this one has olives, and I have that citrus that seems to be okay, so I'd rather leave it because this is not a place for citruses and it looks good. There's poplars, there's almonds, which I thought were going to be medium size, but I've heard you say they're emergent. So I feel like they're like peaches, but my emergents here are olives, which I'm not really planning on pruning, but maybe a formation, maybe, because they seem to be going very good. I even have some olives. There's also grapevines underneath. So this is another crazy combination. And it looks not too bad, not as thick as the other. Some leucaenas and gandul beans are coming up. In all of the lines, I have nopales and I have rosemaries and other grasses underneath, but I haven't really mentioned that. So here I think I'm just going to manage the casters once those seeds look ripe, and then maybe a formation a prune to the olives. And the last line pretty dense castor, and this is gonna be even tighter because I had trees left and I didn't know where to put them. So there's apple trees here, but they've been had by grasshoppers. So they're obviously they have a deficiency, but or maybe too much cover from the casters. I think this is chia that somehow ended up here. So there's gonna be quince, there's gonna be apple, quince, and poplars, and some of the things that I just put. There's a papaya. I don't think it's gonna make it through the winter, but it grew. I thought there was gonna be a moringa. Yeah, there's a small moringa there, but it didn't really develop that much. And again, apple. So that pattern is gonna repeat, but there's a papaya there growing there, which we'll see. Castor, some flowers that just spontaneously grew, and poplars, apple, a couple of citrus trees that don't seem too happy, but they're okay. Yeah, like the leaves became too small. So this is super dense, and I think it needs management. And here I think again, the castor, high apical cut. Maybe I cut all of the flowers because they're going into senescence. There's leucaena growing there from seeds. And then forming a little bit the apple trees and the quince and the poplars also. I want those to go straight up if possible, so that those are the emergent. And whatever happens to the papaya and the moringa, I'll be happy. Well, I'll be happier if they succeed, but it was just an experiment because they're more exposed outside here. So those are my lines, and those are my thoughts on how to manage them. And we're in the middle of October, and I think it's getting late, but I feel I can still do the last management here. And yeah, I want to hear your thoughts, your advice on it. See what we can do. What's going on inside of the high tunnels? I don't think I can just experiment a lot more, but it is super cool. I just wish it was like this outside, but anyways, things are coming along. Well, I mean, that's my moringa. Anyways, avocados and some other stuff. All right. Thank you.